Hey guys, it's Archer the Fed. I'm back with Victor from the Whiskey Panda. We got the clout. We're in the hotel lobby and we're picking up subscribers as we're actively recording. I asked Victor to bring some sample bottles and he forgot, which is fine because we brought sample bottles, but we want to take these home. These are a travel kit. This is our Asian Ore travel kit. So we have 4 very fantastic pours for Mr. Victor to try. He can absolutely down and pound all these pours if he wants, or he can share them however he sees fit. The main thing that we wanted to do was let him try some of the most unique bottles that I have in my collection that I might not ever get again. So one of those is THH 23, which is Thomas H. Handy 23, which is Buffalo Trace BTAC's collection. Thomas H. Handy is a 124.9 proof, and that is the 23 release. We have the Midwinters Night Dram. This is Act 11, Scene 6. We have a Blanton's Gold. This is the European release. And then I have a Rebecca's Creek double barrel whiskey. This one we did have an intention on doing a video, and we just couldn't quite get the timing down to do everything, but we still have 4 sample bottles for us to try. Obviously, we want him to try the harder to get, the more allocated ones as his first ones, so he can actually take the time and enjoy those because those pours are his. These sample bottles go up to 2-ounce markings. Clearly, you can see that our little 2-ounce sample exchange for his George T. Stagg by Thomas H. Handy was a little bit more than 2 ounces, but it's for a good cause. So
sure, yeah. Well, let's pour this up, man, and let's enjoy this.
I heard the word "let," so I'm assuming I'm a part of that.
Yes, you are.
Have to get him some more samples with some actual samples I can send him home with.
Yeah, I was like, and it was one of those things. I was rushing around, trying to get everything, and
plans changed. I mean, you were supposed to be coming in yesterday, and some stuff. I mean, there was a whole bunch of nonsense going on to where we couldn't pin down what we wanted.
But I remembered to bring sample bottles. But all the sample bottles that I brought were full.
And all my sample bottles were aged in wounds.
And so you know, he's going to go home with some great pours. I'm going to get to try some great pours.
And I thought you were bringing little sample bottles for me that weren't already boxed up, because I have a box that has little cutouts for the little 2-ounce bottles that I was going to put them in.
Yeah.
So I had a box specifically for that. Just didn't have the empty ones.
That's fine.
We're waiting on Amazon, guys. Amazon, I ordered 2-ounce samples for the giveaways. They're still stuck in China.
Why are they stuck in China?
They said it was going to be 45 days. Have you guys ever ordered something from Amazon that told you it was going to be there in 45 days? Normally it's there the next night.
I'm confused.
We ordered from Amazon. Normally it's 2-day shipping or less. This said 45 days, so they must be stuck in customs.
Maybe they were full of something.
Yeah, they were full of whiskey.
Okay, let's give this a nice swirl, man. Let it open up, get some air. Not that it already hasn't.
Yeah, we'll say it's had some air. I've opened that bottle up very quickly. I waited for New Year's for that one. I fresh cracked that. We've done a few pours of this, actually.
Oh, wow. That is a nice, thick coat.
124.9 proof, guys. 124.9.
This thing is slowly developing legs, which means that mouthfeel is going to be amazing.
This is one of my absolute favorite bottles. The store that I got this from is the Liquor Outpost off of Debbie Lane in Mansfield, Texas. So it's right on the edge of Mansfield and Arlington. And I was blessed to be able to get one of these bottles. The price that I was charged was $189.99. So yeah, it's above MSRP, but it's a smaller mom and pop store, and they got to push bottles to get those allocations. And it's not secondary. Secondary on this bad boy is $500 starting and goes as high as $650.
That's crazy.
200 versus 500. That's a very big difference. So these guys are way closer to MSRP than I could ever hope for.
Yeah.
And they actually sold me the bottle. They didn't tell me to get out of their store.
That's always a bonus.
So I was excited. I got it before work too. So when I went to work, I said, "There's no way this could be a bad day. I got a Buffalo Trace Antique Collection bottle in the truck."
Yeah.
Ain't nothing ruining that.
And so now here's the funny thing. The legs still haven't really started. This is crazy.
Sticks to the glass.
This is crazy.
And I'm not a rye guy, but holy cow, is this one of my favorite pours. I can see the hype. That's all I can say. I can see the hype. It's very spicy though.
It's very spice forward, and it's got that. It punches you with all of that spice right up front. Mm-hmm. But then as it sets on your palate, it mellows out and it turns into this almost like a hay type that I normally get on a rye. Not a bad taste at all. It's one of those flavors that I always get on a rye. But then it goes into this nice, sweet vanilla.
Almost like a marshmallow.
Yeah. It's this nice, sweet vanilla that just kind of lingers. And I would say that, dude, that's a medium long finish. It's almost gone at this point, but it's just barely hanging out. And
this was a hefty pour too.
That is such. Well, I mean, hey, you're gonna do it right whenever you got a BTAC, right? But this is very good, very good. I would take one of these all day long. And so
I was happy to get it, and I didn't even ask the price when she brought it out. She brought it out from the back. Well, first off, when I walked in, I bought 2 energy drinks, and I was telling her, hey, I got a new work schedule. I can come in before work now. She's like, I'm so sorry, I haven't called anybody. And I said, what are you talking about? She's like, I haven't done any phone calls for anybody for bottle. I'm not here for that. I was here for energy drinks before work. She said, I might have a Thomas H. Handy in the back. And my response was, I'd be ecstatic if you did.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. And she brought that out, and I didn't even ask how much. I was just like swiping the card before I could even figure it out. Dropping my keys over here.
So whenever I got my George T. Stagg, Thomas Handy was one of the options that I was given. And, you know, I think that George T. Stagg is amazing. But tasting this one, I don't think I would have been wrong going either one.
George T. Stagg is kind of the more sought-after one. So just off the clout alone, I think I would have picked the George T. Stagg like you did, so I'm glad that you did.
Yep.
Thomas H. Handy was the only one I was offered, but I didn't cry.
Yeah,
I was ecstatic. I literally said I would be ecstatic if you did.
Yeah.
And when she brought that bottle out with that paper wrapped around it, I was like, holy cow, this is for real. This is not a dream.
So I've got a question. Do you still have your bottle wrapped in the paper?
I do. It sits on my shelf in the paper. I kept the paper in pristine condition. I went as far, I kept the receipt. The receipt sits underneath the bottle so I can show people. Showed on the live stream last night. I held the receipt up and pushed it. When I poured it up, you were already off the live.
I was gone.
But I pushed the receipt up and I read the price out loud. It's got the store on it and everything. So you guys can see that I actually did buy this bottle for $189.99 with 2 monsters at $249 a piece on there. So you see the total was $210. That was with 2 monsters for a Thomas H. Handy and 2 monsters.
And he still spent about $150 less than I did for my George T. Stagg.
Which is crazy because I thought Victor had the hookup and had a good deal on it, which it sounds like you still did because it was well below secondary, but I didn't realize you had to pay so much for yours.
I did.
So hearing the levels of the bottles that we got and the prices, that's a huge difference. Mm-hmm. And then when you talk about secondary value, $550 is kind of the going rate for Thomas H. Handy. George T. Stagg's about $850. Those are both on the low end. High end, I can get about $650 for Thomas H. Handy. You could push as high as $1,000 for George T. Stagg. And then if you go to these mom and pop stores that are museums, they're not stores. I said store. Let me correct myself. Museums. They want $1,200 for that bottle. So when you talk about spending $350, like, yeah, you paid more than MSRP. I paid more than MSRP, not by much.
Yeah.
But was it worth it? And my answer to that is an obvious yes. There's no hesitation because people will go nuts over that bottle and offer well above what a store would be selling it for just to have a chance to buy one.
Yeah, and you know, I was still ecstatic at double MSRP. You know, because
the Fossil Creek liquor store, they wanted $300 for their George T. Staggs last year, and then the morning of when they did their drop, the owner was there and said $500. They were told the night before it was going to be $300. People camped out overnight, and they raised the price to $500, and people still bought it. They had 6 bottles. The first 7 people had the opportunity to buy because one of the first 6 passed on it. But within the first 7 people, all of them sold at $500 a pop.
I would have passed on that.
At $500, one guy did.
Yep.
And I don't blame him, especially if he was told the night before that it was $300.
And that is why I would have passed. You know, is because if you tell me something's going to be this, and then I show up, and then you're just like, you know what? Because I know you're really going to want it.
Someone's gonna buy it, even at $500, and they did.
I'm gonna
The
bump
next
that
guy
price
did, in
up.
fact. The next guy did.
And so that would have been enough for me to say no.
And those guys hurt because I watched them. They struggled to swipe their cards. The first 2, we were all standing outside the store. They only allowed 5 people. At first it was 3, then they allowed 5. The guy at first was like, "Wait a second, what's the price on that?" Because they required you to buy a store pick from their store too, in order to buy that bottle.
Oh,
So they had to buy a store pick. Now the store picks weren't like goody goody. It wasn't bundled. You weren't forced to buy this plus this bottle of water. Any of the store picks in the store you were allowed to pick. So that's why I got that Russell's single, the private select. That red label one, I got that as my pick because that was an option. I was like, that's one of the best options out there is a store pick, and I can pick and get an allocated bottle. I got Stag 22A, but sorry guys, I wasn't in the first 6. I didn't camp out the night before.
Okay. So I'm going to say this. When we tried that Middle West Dark Pumpernickel Rye, I was like, man, that's probably one of my more favorite ryes. Traditional ryes.
Yeah.
This blows it out the water. And so I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to throw this out there. Rusty, you said you weren't sure about yours. If you're still not sure about it, I know a guy who would love it. Let's talk, bud.
The Bourbon Syndicate being called out. I know he got a Thomas H. Handy, which I thought was crazy because he had just joined our community, got into the game, and picked up a BTAC bottle so quickly. And I don't think he realized how good it was. And let's not even talk about the BTAC. He also got a Jack Daniels, what was it, 10 or 12?
10.
He got a Jack Daniels 10. He got some banging bottles. He got 4 absolute.
Speaking of the Jack Daniels 10, you're still not sure about that one either, Rusty.
I know somebody that would take
I
it
know
off your
somebody
hand,
who
too.
would love it too.
Now, I have a second glass here that is empty, and
I've got a second glass that's
we're
empty,
still
too.
rolling on the camera, even though we still have some BTAC poured up.
Well, I'll scoot this over.
There's this Midwinters Night Dram, which is a rye that's a blend.
Okay, so I've got to tell you, man, I was never looking for this bottle.
I wasn't either.
I had a friend looking for it, and so I located one. Told him where it was at, and I never even thought about getting it myself.
Have you tried it from your friend?
No,
Haven't even tried it. So he's never tried
I've
this
never
either.
tried any of it.
So this is why I tried to do these pours, because I wanted to try to make sure it was something he's never had. Now this is a High West product. It's not the Prisoner. This one, I didn't write the alcohol percentage on there, but it's just below 100 proof. It's like, I want to say 49.6%. I want to say it's just under 100. But this one is it's supposed to be a blend, like a rye blend. But when I drank the Thomas H. Handy alongside this Midwinters Night Dram, I was blown out of the water, and I said, why would anyone chase after BTAC if they can find a Thomas H. Handy for just slightly above MSRP? That's how good it is. Yeah, he poured us up hefty. He does know I have to drive still, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
He just wants me to enjoy the special pours.
I'm a sharer, okay? Anybody that knows me knows that I will give you all of my stuff before I enjoy it myself. So
This one is good.
okay, let me get the nose on this.
Absolutely. The nose is different. It's a blend. It's different. It's a whole new ball game. But it's exciting. There's so much going on. I'm curious to see. This guy he's got a nose for this stuff. He can put out a lot of these flavors, but this is from High West. It's under 100 proof. It is a blend. Act 11, Scene 6. It was a $200 bottle after taxes. It was about $200 after taxes because I got a 10% off on it.
So I'm getting some wet Alpo and kibbles and bits. Okay, no, I'm just playing.
I was about to say, if he said that, he could just He can just give me his Glen too, because I'm not gonna let him drink it if he thinks it's that bad before he even tries it.
No, I'm just messing. I just thought that would be fun.
This is a very special pour, and I picked up a second bottle of it. This is Act 11 Scene 6. I got an Act 11 Scene 3 from Total Wine. Not even a week later when I said, I need a backup of this because it's that freaking good. And I paid $169.99 before taxes at Total Wine for it. And it's just something it's something different about it. There's something different about it, and it's good, but you have to drink it slow, unless you chill it.
So here's the thing, like, I get mineral water smell on the nose, like almost a bubbly type, carbonated.
So when you taste it, it's gonna have a weird funk that's very different than the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. And that's why I say taking small amounts of it, because it's called a Midwinters Night Dram. This will keep you warm at night.
Okay, so here's my question.
This will keep you warm.
Here's my question. Because now that I've, swirled it around, got it coating the glass just a little bit, which that is a thick coat.
And it's dark.
I get some black licorice.
I also get a little leather off of it.
And
Which I don't like leather as a note.
Neither
on
do
this
I.
one, it's very pleasant.
But I would say that leather hint is there, but black licorice is what I'm really kind of getting the most on that.
Okay.
Now I could be wrong, but
He's got to taste it first.
but yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of.
That's that Thomas H. Handy. It's down, guys. It's
Reminds
empty.
me of a candy that I used to eat whenever I was a kid. That is crazy. I'll be honest with you. I could probably just sit here and nose this all night and be just as satisfied before even thinking about sipping it. The nose is that good.
I thought it was that freaking good even to drink it, but it was one of those where I couldn't take a big swig. It had to be small sips of it. And the flavor profile changes as it sits on the palate. It does have some leather notes on the tongue for sure for me, and the palate slowly evolves, and it does have some spice to it being a rye blend.
That is black licorice.
It's one of my favorite pours.
That is black licorice and vanilla caramel sweetness.
So when you talk about Thomas H. Handy BTAC and the Midwinter Night Dram from High West, they're definitely different. I'm not going to sit there and compare them side by side because they're not on the same level, but they are at the same level when it talks about uniqueness. They're both very unique in different ways.
So let me be a little blasphemous for a second. I prefer this over that.
That's why I bought a backup bottle of this and not a backup bottle of Thomas H. Handy, because I was like, I need this now. I don't think people realize how good this is.
This
It's amazing.
is
amazing.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, but
Unpopular opinion, Victor from the Whiskey Panda and RG the Fed think that Midwinter's Night Dram is better than Thomas H. Handy.
Yeah.
We said it. It's here.
I mean,
it's out there for everybody else to hear now.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of like anise, and so whenever you give me that on a pour, man, I'm all in on it. And this is full of it.
I almost brought that bottle so I could leave it with him if he liked it, but I paid so much for it I couldn't bring myself to bring it up here. Because I was afraid I was going to drop it or break it. Not that I was going to give it away, but I was going to ruin it before it got to you.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I would not have let you give it to me.
It's so good.
And
you deserve a bottle of this.
It's not because I like
these.
it. And it's not because I don't like it.
You need one of these.
It's because I like you, and I feel like I would take advantage.
You need
of
one
it.
of these.
This is holy cow. This is.
He said he's not taking advantage of me. I'm forcing him to take advantage of me. I'm sending him home with bottles that he didn't even know he was getting.
Yeah, he is. He is. See, I thought I was being generous.
He gave me a really nice gift, guys. I would not have expected to find Buffalo Trace as a store pick. That's a very cool gift. I love Buffalo Trace. I don't know if you guys realize the last couple days, that's what I bought. So I have a 1.75, I have a 1 liter, I have a 750 and a 375. I have the whole vertical lineup for the size difference of the Buffalo Trace now.
Nice. And so, yeah, I mean, I went into the store looking for that for you, and I walked out with 2.
Yeah, you said they had 2 different barrel picks.
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace, but there was 2 barrels, two separate barrels.
2 different barrels. However,
That's uncommon.
However, the barrel that they said was the cherry barrel was the one I gave to you.
Oh, it's okay.
I
love cherry flavored. I think you might have known that.
And so So
I'm excited now.
So it was barrel 114.
Barrel 114.
And that's the one that you
cherry
got.
flavored. Man.
So, now I didn't get to try them, so they could have been lying to me.
We're gonna figure it out though. We're gonna do a review
Sort
on it,
them all
guys.
out.
We'll do a review on it.
Man, this is delicious.
I said I was gonna go for unique. The last one. This is Blanton's Gold that I have. I thought I was gonna bring the Frey Ranch for you, and I forgot. I forgot to bring the Frey Ranch. That's okay. We'll figure it out though.
That's fine. I gave you some Frey Ranch.
Yeah, but mine's the liquor lineup pick.
Yeah,
That was from Riley Tesla,
mine's gonna be better.
and Riley said you can't get this anymore, and it's the best damn Frey Ranch he's ever had.
Mine's better.
I'm gonna have to blind it.
You're gonna have to blind
I'm gonna
them.
blind it.
I'm gonna blind them, and then tell everybody I'm wrong. But here's the thing: I have not had his, so
he's gonna have to try it anyways because it's a butterscotch bomb.
let me finish this.
These two pours are very unique too. We're not rushing this, so we'll cut the video. We'll come back for these two. But Blanton's Gold, this was my first chance of ever getting Blanton's Gold. That early times black cap that we got, that we're given to Victor, by the way, that we did our review on for the comparison, we got this at the same time. Secondary on these guys for Blanton's Gold is $200, $250 a bottle. I got it down to $200 and got the black cap for $50. So $250 for both. I basically got the early times for free, paying full secondary for Blanton's Gold. I know Blanton's Gold's less than that. We had a huge drop from Specs. I got the bag in the box from Specs drop, but the bottle's European, so it's a 700 milliliter bottle because I was going to give it as a gift to my dad.
Crazy.
And the guy subscribed to the channel, so I'm still letting him know that the bottle's still getting used and drank. My dad passed on the gift because he wanted the bottle that I had given him because of the dump date and the topper from the regular Blanton's more than the gold. I just remember him making a comment, I didn't know they made a gold one. If they made a gold one, I would have wanted that one. So that's why I went out and bought the gold one. I didn't even care how much it was. I'm like, I'm going to find me a gold bottle. I'm going to buy it. And then we were going to do some Texas reviews with the Spanish Double Oak. This is the Rebecca Creek, just double barrel, not just double barrel. It's not double oak, it's just double barrel.
Okay.
And I think this is a bourbon, not a whiskey. I think this is actually a bourbon.
Okay.
I know Rebecca Creek has whiskeys and then they have bourbons. I think this one's one of their bourbons. So this one's their silver label. I got it at Specs for like $50, I want to say, maybe less than that. It was unique. After trying from Victor's recommendation the double barrel Spanish oak, I could not buy another Rebecca Creek after that because it's like if one's good, they can all be good, somewhat good, right?
I don't know. It's the only one that I've ever tried because it was the only one that I knew that I had to try.
He's going to be trying this one then, so he'll know if he likes that one. I'm still looking for the 16-year. The 16-year secondary on that is $275, and the label, instead of being a sticker, is a metal medallion.
I know where to get one. But they want like $240 for it.
That's less than secondary. We might buy it.
So
This Midwinter Night Dram, though, Act 11, Scene 6, $189.99, and we got that 10% off because it was $200. We got the first responder discount, guys. Pays to be a Fed every once in a while. We saved on the taxes.
that's funny. Nobody ever calls me a first responder.
It says so on my ID. I'll have to show Victor after we cut off the ID. It says first Federal Emergency Response is what it says at the bottom.
Nice. Nice. That means RJ the Fed is cooler than I am.
You heard it here from the Whiskey Panda.
It's official.
This is amazing though. It's unique. It's warm. It's a rye. It's a blend. It's less than 100 proof though. It's like 90, 98, 99 point something.
I don't even know what to say. That is so good. It's dumbfounding.
Why do you think I was quickly jumping on the secondary chats and was like, hey, does anybody have one of these for sale? Because I want one, because I want to back up. And then I found one at Total Wine not even a week later and immediately bought it. So many people passed on that, by the way, guys. So on that day, this was what dropped. Stag 23C, there were 6 bottles. I was 11th in line. No way in hell I'm getting that. Buffalo Trace, Kosher Straight Rye, which is out in Victor's car right now because it's going to be going home with Victor as well. That's another one of the bottles that he's getting. That bottle was $40 and people passed on that. There was not enough for me to get that bottle out of the people I was number 11. There was only 6 of those. People passed on that. I got it as number 11.
That's crazy.
And they had Midwinters Night Dram. And then those were the bottles at the counter in the customer service area. They had Eagle Rare when you walk down the aisle. So I'm holding 4 bottles wrapped around my arms as I'm walking around while I'm pushing my baby. I'm pushing my son in his stroller, and I'm holding 4 bottles, guys. I go up to the register.
Those are parenting skills.
I threw up all those bottles on the counter, and I think the total was like $350. And I didn't even bat an eye. I was like, swipe the card. I know it was way more than I should have, especially if you guys saw that store haul video. Oh my goodness, that budget was supposed to be $1,000. If you read the total, it was more than $1,000, like $1,200.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
This is worth it. Worth it.
This is really good. You know, and so.
Are you going to be looking for one? Is this one of your bottles on your sought after list now for 2024?
This is now on my list.
It's on the radar.
This is now.
How high on that list? Low or high?
It'll be pretty high. It'll be pretty high.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I actually bought this back up in January, this was actually one of my most sought after bottles of 2024. We'll try to make a video about that on the bottles that are on my list, and that we've already reached one of those as one of the goals, because after trying this, and I'm not bashing Buffalo Trace, their antique collection is phenomenal.
It was good.
I will do crazy stuff to get Buffalo Trace antique bottles, unspeakable things to get Buffalo Trace antique collection bottles.
I don't want to hear them.
But this Thomas H. Handy versus the Midwinters Night Dram, this Midwinters Night Dram, honestly, it's better. I'm going to say it's better. Victor said it's better.
I agree.
That you're hearing it a second time. We think this is better.
Yes. Well, and so...
And this is from High West.
Yeah, and so one of the things about me is I've always been a root beer fan, which always has that anise, like black licorice-y flavor in the background. One of my favorite soda pops. And I can't drink soda anymore. And so whenever I
can drink whiskey, though.
Yes, and so whenever I get that flavor on a whiskey, I am sold. I am all in, because it reminds me of one of my childhood favorite drinks.
That's awesome, man.
There we go, right there.
Not to mention, if you guys haven't seen, we have Panda glasses, and one of these, probably this specific one, will be coming home with RJ the Fed.
Yes.
This will be my 4th Glen in my collection. Crazy, we don't buy Glens. We just get them through restaurants and gift packages and friends and other content creators. So we have a Bruzel Glen. Mm-hmm. That was actually one of the first giveaways I've ever won on YouTube, was actually from Bruzel's channel. We got a free merch item, which was a Glencairn.
That's crazy.
Our second one that we got was, what is our second one? AJ's on Main. So my uncle's restaurant, we're actually 5 minutes from here. We could actually be recording from the restaurant, but because of family and timing and everything, we chose to do this so it would be more private. And then the third Glen I got was from Balcones. I actually bought a gift set that came with a lineage bottle, full 750, the pot still, and the single malt. And then this will be my 4th Glen, the Panda Glen from Victor from the Whiskey Panda.
And so my buddy actually made these. And he made these, like a lot of people do the...
so like laser etching, right?
No, most people will, like on these, like your homemaker kind will use like a chemical etch.
Okay.
He actually sandblasted that with
very cool
with a different media than sand. I don't remember what he used, but yeah, he designed that up and did like 4 of these for me, and so yeah, super cool. Super cool. Thank you, Eric.
Shout out to Eric. These are cool glasses. I have one now. Thank you. So this is another video. These were supposed to be pours for Victor to enjoy on his own and to make content if he wanted to, but unfortunate circumstances, or fortunate, however you want to look at it.
I would say fortunate.
We just experienced 2 of one of my favorite, both are my favorite models of 2023 and 2024, if you count the new one that I haven't opened. Fantastic pours. It's RJ the Fed and Victor from the Whiskey Panda signing out, and we'll see you guys for the next one.
Cheers. Thanks for watching.